Hi there, myself Rakesh and welcome back to my channel. In this specific video, we are going to learn about a new topic which is UiPath Maestro. This is also one of the trending topic at the moment in UiPath. Now what is this and how do you access UiPath Maestro? We are going to learn in the introductory video. I am going to release multiple videos on Maestro. And I would request you to stay tuned and watch all the videos that I'm going to release in the UiPath Maestro series. So why delay? Let's get started. The very first thing is how to access UiPath Maestro. For this, you should log into UiPath Automation Cloud. And I believe this feature is available only for Enterprise Edition users. If you have an enterprise license, you might see it. However, if you are having a cloud or community license, please do have a check because I'm not able to check that. Just check it. If you have this Maestro, well and good. You can go to more and check in your community edition if you see this option called Maestro. In case it is not available, then I assume it is only currently available only for the enterprise users. Just have a check and do comment and let me know. So how do you access? So I have to first log into Automation Cloud. And then I need to click on this breadcrumb symbol. And below, if I go, you should be able to see something called Maestro. This is the step. I'm going to click on Maestro. And this is the landing page of UiPath Maestro, where it says, okay, orchestrate AI agents, robots, and people with Maestro to exit business outcomes. This is the tagline for Maestro. And this is where you start your modeling. All right, so let's understand the definition of UiPath Maestro. What is this tool? Why UiPath has built this tool? What was the necessity? So here, UiPath Maestro is, is the orchestration layer that enables seamless coordination between AI agents, robots, and people. So now agent is coming into picture. What is the capability of an agent? The agent can think like a human being. That is the additional capacity that the agent has. Can your robots think? Basically, no. You are writing the code, you are defining what the robot should do. The robot doesn't have, on itself, it doesn't have a cognitive ability. So you are bringing AI into picture. So this AI agents can think like a human being. And the robots are the workers, they will do the work. And people will verify if there is some exception comes. I would see, okay, do this, do that. I would the people would lead it, right? Who is walking? The robot is walking. Who's thinking? The AI agent is thinking. Now when you have a very long running business process, there are many things to do. Imagine there could be 2 to 3 automations has to run to complete the process based on various situations. So for a long running process, you have agents, you have robots, you have people. These three things are working. Now there has to be a tool where I can literally manage everything. Otherwise, it will become very, very difficult. What this person did, what the robot did, what the agent did, did the work happen or not? I need to have a platform where I can see everything. So that is called Maestro. Once again, let's read the definition. UiPath Maestro is the orchestration layer. Just like orchestrator, you are managing your jobs, your automations, similar to that. But here, what is coming extra? You have three things: AI agents, robots, and people. All the three things, who is doing what happened where, everything you can manage on the UiPath Maestro. It's the orchestration layer for optimize complex and long running business processes. Okay, so this is what the introduction you have got. Now I was talking, there's a theme here. What is the theme? Agents will think, robots will do, your automations still exist, right? The robots will do, agents will think. Why would I use an AI when the robots can do my job? Why would I spend my AI units? So agents are required when you need cognitive ability like a human being. So agents will do the thinking part. Robots will do, people will lead any exceptions, anything that They can instruct, they can approve, and those things where people is really needed, right? People will lead. So this is the theme. Agents think, robots do, people lead. This is the theme on which the Maestro is built, and we are going to learn how to use Maestro. What is the very first step to learn Maestro? I'm going to show you. Before we get started, I'm going to show you how you can enable or disable Maestro. For this, you have to go to this breadcrumb symbol on your automation cloud and then go to admin. Now, whichever tenant you would like to have Maestro and whichever tenant you don't like to have Maestro, for that you have to select your tenant, whatever the name of the tenant is, and then click on services. And here in this banner, you would have Maestro. Now, Maestro is by default enabled for all tenants. If there is a requirement you need to disable, all you do select it, click on this three dot and hit on disable. So getting started with Maestro, what is the important thing we should know? Before creating full agentic process on UiPath Maestro, it is key to learn basics. You have to learn the basics first. And what are those basics? First, you will model a simple process using the canvas at bpmn.uipath.com. This is where you would first design a simple process on a bpmn.uipath.com. I'm going to show you. Then you will build and run a full agentic process in UiPath Maestro. After this, after you have designed the simple process, then you are going to build an agentic process on UiPath Maestro, including testing, publishing, managing. There will be so many things you are going to slowly learn. So the very first step here is building a canvas on bpmn.uipath.com. If you are new to BPMN, I have few recommendations. Please go to Automate with Rakesh, my channel, and here I have the latest video on the BPMN modeler, which is made on BPMN 2.0. That is the latest model available at the moment. So kindly use this particular video, which is within 30 minutes. Please do watch it and practice it. Only when you practice this, you would understand the basics of BPMN. And then right now I'm going to show you little advanced design in BPMN. Hence, it is very important for you to go through this particular video if you do not have good knowledge on BPMN design and its elements. So in Maestro, the very first thing is learning the process modeling. And in this example, we are going to design an invoice processing agentic process through the Maestro. So the step number one is you going into bpmn.uipath.com. This is a publicly accessible website, bpmn.uipath.com. Once you have accessed it, there are two options: new BPMN, new DMN. All you have to do, simply click on the business process model and notation, new BPMN, click on this. Then you see a blank canvas. So in the canvas, you don't have a down scroll bar, right? You don't see that. So how do you move this one is by holding on to the shift key, and then you will have option to drag and drop. The very first thing what we will do is select this particular start event, and then I am going to click on change element. So what you're supposed to do, open bpmn.com. Whatever I am doing step by step, you just have to follow it at the moment. So the moment you open, you have a start event. This is called a start event. Click on it once and then click on change element once. Here you have multiple different kinds of start event. Here you have to select message start event. This is how the icon should appear. This is how the icon should appear. To write something, bottom of this icon, simply double click on it. Then you see a small line, the typing symbol has come. That is one option. The second option, you can go to the property and write it here. Both the options are fine. Okay, so let's double click and let's write invoice created. This is the first icon. The next thing is select this icon and then you see a arrow symbol. Okay, so what do you do? Simply select it, and after selecting, a small banner on the top, bottom, anywhere it might appear, this banner. In this one, let's select the task. Okay, and in the task, let's write invoice to PO matching. So there's an invoice, there's a purchase order, and I'm just doing a matching. Is this invoice belongs to this purchase order or not? At the moment, you might have confusions around what is a PO, what is an invoice, right? Don't worry. As I said, the very first step is you learning how to work on the BPMN modeling. Okay, even though you don't understand the text, doesn't matter. Start following and create the workflow. That is very, very important at this juncture. Later, we might understand this entire process, how it works. Okay, so now let's just follow the steps. Once you have done this, then again click on change element. As this is a automated task. So there are many tasks. One is user task. That means a human is doing on a software. Service task means it's an automated task. There is an automation or an agent who will be doing it. And there is also something called manual task. Manual task, like you have to make a phone call. You have to physically go and turn off the server machine. You have to physically go and turn off the power. These are called manual tasks where you have to physically present, physically go and take an action. Here, user task means through the software you are doing. You are, approving an invoice, rejecting an invoice. These are called user tasks. You are doing it on the software. And automated task, you'll be using service task. It could be an automation, agentic automation. It could be robotic process automation. It could be any script written. So here, let's use service task. Now, after this, I'm going to select it and I'm going to use this exclusive gateway. And in this one, double click and write is manual check required question mark. Let's click outside. Now what is happening? You're doing an invoice and a purchase order matching. So every invoice, a single purchase order may have multiple invoices. And in each of the invoices, the same purchase order, let's say PO 1234, should be present in all the invoices. If the invoice doesn't have the purchase order, it has some other purchase order, that means the invoice does not belong to this purchase order. Hence you are saying, and sometimes the AI might do errors or exceptions are there. In this thing you are saying, is manual check required? If yes, what should we do? If no, what should we do? Next, highlight this manual check and then have this task created, one at the right, and then I want another task to be created, one at the bottom. Okay, so let's drag it them slightly here and there, and let's write what I'm going to write. So is manual check required? Then I'm going to click on this symbol. I will see yes, manual check is required. Now manual check is required. Which kind of element I should select? User task. So here I am going to say resolve, whoever that manual person is, he's supposed to resolve the mismatches. Okay, resolve the mismatches. If no manual intervention required, the automation has done its job, then what you should do? Then you should approve the invoice. This approve the invoice, who does it? A manual person does it. So let's click on change element, click on user task. After this, the next thing is a question. Approve. Did he approve or no? Approved or no? So here double click. Let's write approved question mark. Now if it is approved, then what you do? You have to post the invoice in SAP. Okay, post the invoice in SAP, and after that the process, the thick circle we are using to say process completed, or you can say end. Now if it is not approved, if it is approved, yes, you post the invoice in the SAP, right? Now, if it is not approved, then what you do? If it is not approved, then we'll have one more task at the bottom. Say no. If it is not approved, then you have to inform via email. So I will use send task to vendor. Inform vendor. Okay, now look at it how it is appearing. If the if the invoice is approved, yes, post the invoice in SAP and the process ends there. If it is not approved, then you have to inform the vendor through an email. So this much have you drawn? If not, please continue to draw this much. Whatever I have drawn so far, kindly draw it. Now, coming back to this resolve mismatch. Okay, use the spacebar and drag. Resolve mismatch. Now, in the resolve mismatch, there could be two conditions. Okay, one is, have the manual person has resolved the mismatches. If mismatch is resolved, then you approve the invoice, right? So resolve the mismatch. There are two things. Okay, let's use this XOR symbol. Then I'm going to double click, and what happened in the resolution? Okay, resolution outcome, what the manual person did. So he has two options. Either he would reject it. For example, he is rejecting. So what I will do, I'll connect this to inform vendor. I'll remove this inform vendor little at the bottom. Okay, and then here I'm going to double click and I'm going to say rejected because that is a mismatch, or there's some problem with the invoice is not clear or whatever it is, so it's rejected. So inform vendor. Now the other thing, he might ask for more information. So here I will put one more symbol, drag that symbol to the bottom. Okay, and here I'm going to say send task, and I would request more information. I would request for more information. So this could be two things. At what this happens when it is rejected or need more information. So in this one, you can say info needed, and request more. Not most. It should be more. Request more information. Now here in the case of inform vendor, when the your invoice is not approved, you are informing the vendor. After informing the vendor, what you would like to do, you would like to do a dispute investigation. Why this invoice has been rejected, right? Or what happened? So there's a dispute investigation. For that, I have an automated task, and I'll keep this task little at the bottom. Okay, there's an automated task, and this is an automated task. That's why I have to select service task. This icon should appear. Clear? Then here I'm going to write dispute investigation. This is what I supposed to write. After writing dispute investigation, there are two things can happen. There's no dispute, or the dispute has been resolved. Now if the dispute has been resolved, then where your connection should go, you should use the connect and then connect to this approval. And then once you have this, you can always drag and keep it accordingly. The next thing, this dispute investigation can take time, right? So I'll have this intermediate event. Click on this intermediate event and then click on change element. Now this, as it's a timer, it will take time. I'll use this timer symbol. Okay, then what I'm going to do, I'm going to use this connect symbol. Whatever I have, I'm going to remove it, delete it, and then I'm going to drag this timer symbol and keep it in the icon. You see, so these are the design elements, how you are designing the BPMN. You can see it. Okay, let me slightly zoom it. You can see this is how it is appearing. Dispute investigation. Now let me unzoom it. Okay, now after you have dispute investigation is done, if there is no dispute, then what I will do, I'll connect this to the end. So here I'm going to say no dispute. Okay, now you can see how your diagram is slowly appearing. Okay, a complex diagram is slowly taking shape. Now, coming back to request more information. Here, let's use a exclusive gateway symbol. Let's put it the bottom, and then here let's change the element. Now in this one, I'm going to select one of the element which is event based gateway. Okay, one is inclusive gateway, parallel gateway, event based gateway, complex gateway. So here I'm going to select the event based gateway, and the icon would become like this, and I'll double click on this, and I'm going to write a question. Okay, what is, it's an event based gateway, means you are waiting for certain event to happen. So wait, so here what you are doing, you request more information, right? Through an email, you have sent some email and requesting for more information from the vendor. So here what you are doing, wait for response, right, up to 24 hours. Wait for response up to 24 hours is what I have written. Now if you have received an response, right, so here what I will do, I'll use this intermediate symbol. There is a icon. Okay, now if you have received the symbol, let me keep it on the left side. Okay, now if you have response received, for example, okay, let's double click and write response. Okay, I hope you are able to see it. Slightly maximize. Okay, so here I'm saying response received. Now if response is received, then what you do, again you try to resolve the mismatch. Let me slightly minimize, select this, connect to this one. Now what you do, keep this icon at in a place so that the arrows are very clear. Okay, use the, okay, let me do a control G, and then let's use the mouse and try to keep it in a right position. Okay, response received. If response is received, then try to resolve the mismatch, because the person has request for more information, he has received it, and then the cycle will continue. Now if no response received, there's also chance you did not receive any response. Okay, for that you'll be using a timer intermediate event, and here you will say, double click and say no response. Now if you did not receive any response, what you supposed to do, again you will request for, again you will drop another email to the vendor, right? So here I will select and I will say request information, so the cycle will continue, right? So like that you can see now we have designed a complex diagram. Let me slightly drag it and slightly maximize it. I hope you can see it. Now let's read it end to end. Initially what we did, invoice created, invoice to PO matching, there is an automated process. Is manual check required? You said yes, then resolve the mismatch through a human being. If no, then approve the invoice. Approved, yes, post the invoice in SAP and end. If the invoice is not approved, then inform the vendor. Then there's an automation system to do a dispute investigation after informing the vendor. Now if the automation found okay, after the there's another set of process to check. After investigation, it will again send for approval to a human user, then the human user can take action, approve. Okay, if the investigation there's no dispute, then what will happen, then it is going to end it. Okay, that's how. If the dispute investigation is all right, the approve, again it will go for, let's say there's no dispute. Okay, so I think I made a mistake here. Let's not write no dispute. No dispute should come here. Okay, here I will write escape, and here I am going to write no dispute. Okay, so if there is no dispute, with time it will find, then the approval go. If there is a dispute, okay, dispute found, then you end it. All right, the other one, the other side of the diagram, is manual check required? Yes. Resolution outcome, you need more info, then you are sending a request for more information. You are waiting for 24 hours. If you receive a response within that, then you again follow this cycle. Okay, again you follow the cycle. If no response received, again you request for the information. You drop another email after 24 hours of waiting. So this is how the entire cycle will progress, and this is how you have learned many different icons in a BPMN. So what you have achieved so far is learning the modeling in BPMN. After designing the model, what is the next thing that you should know? You would like to download the design that you have created. Now for this, you have the option here, download to file. Now click on this download to file and wait for a few seconds, and you see the diagram has been downloaded. Now let's go to the diagram. Now what happens when you go to the diagram and try to open it using Adobe, using Word or any other program that is there in your desktop, it will not work. So for example, if I'm going to hit on Adobe Acrobat and click on just once, don't say always, simply say just once, you see the Adobe Acrobat has given an error. Adobe Acrobat Reader could not open UiPath diagram.bpmn because it is either not a supported file type. So it's not going to work. Now the question is, Rakesh, we have drawn this. I want to share with somebody. How will I do it? Because it doesn't open. I'll tell you, because see, Word or PDF that has a limited size. Now your diagram could extend to the right, extend to the bottom, and you want everything to appear at one place, not separated, isn't it? If a diagram is bigger. So you need a tool. And another reason, this is not just a visual diagram. It also have XML components, right? This also has XML component, and this BPMN tool you will be used for Maestro, for where you will see all the one by process, one step is completed, moving on to the next process. You will see that. So there's a lot of codes also behind the scene which will be working on this. Hence, opening in the Adobe is not possible. Opening in Word, Paint is not possible. But there are a couple of converters available to convert the BPMN into PDF, online converters, but officially if you have to share, maybe those converters are not recommended in your corporate, in your office. So what is the way? So after you have downloaded, what you do, go to ask the person who is going to open it, say go to bpmn.uipath.com and then hit on import, and then go to your file and click on open. This is how the new way of doing things. Ask them to slightly minimize this, ask them to slightly minimize the diagram or resize it as per the view, and then see it. This is what a little bit of training you have to give to the person who wants to watch the entire process flow. In my next video, I'm going to show you how we can design a model in the Maestro, a very simple routing model which will route from one step to the another step. That we are going to design in the Maestro process in my next video. Right now we have learned how to design everything on the BPMN, so we got the understanding how to design a model. Now it'll be easy for us to come to the Maestro platform and design a simple routing model.